All right, so it's going to be a tough one at the Dean, but we move on now to Leo and Dwenger, which is a game when the brackets came out. You could have projected this one, perhaps, if you had the Saints getting by New Haven. Leo undefeated on the season, but this is the best team that they're going to face. Right. Perhaps their best win heading into this week is a win over Garrett, who's the 3A team.
You can make the argument that the toughest team that Leo has played this year is either Garrett or South Adams, and South Adams being a 1A team. Meanwhile, you look at who Dwenger has played, it's been murderer's row. I mean, Dwenger's 4 losses have been to Northside, Cathedral, Snyder, and Lures. I mean, Leo doesn't play anybody of that caliber. So on paper, this should be a good matchup. I think a couple of factors come into play. Dwenger's play the much tougher schedule. They're playing their best football right now. Like I said earlier, they've really turned their season around, moved Dalton Wheeler to running back, and now Dalton Wheeler's dominating on both sides of the ball. Mike Fiacable's playing really, really good at quarterback. And Leo has lost Gage Corner at wide receiver, and last week they only threw the ball 5 times, whereas earlier in the season they really had much more balance out of their offense. Now, granted, they didn't need to throw the ball against Marion. They could just continue to run the ball and eat up clock, but they don't have that balance. They don't have that big receiver out there that's a weapon, and so that hurts them as well, in addition to the schedule that they've played. I really don't see Leo being able to stop Dwenger. And I see Leo being able to score some points on Dwenger, but I don't think that they'll be able to stop Dwenger. I think Dwenger wins this with some breathing room.
Oh, see, I disagree. Not that Dwenger will lose this game. I think it will be tighter than we think, because Dwenger, no, Coach Schwarzkopf doesn't like that they've allowed some teams in the second half to get back in some games and make it a little tighter than they would have liked. And it's going to be at Leo, which is going to be a factor. And the one thing you need to see from Leo, I think, is a quick start, because it's what they did against Marion. Lighter on the first play from scrimmage, boom, goes 75 yards for a touchdown. Then they take a pick back 101 yards on the ensuing drive for Marion. They need to score quickly, and they need to set the tone and put Dwenger behind the 8 ball. If that doesn't happen, then it's going to be a big uphill climb, I think, for the Lions.
Well, the thing about Dwenger is they have a very balanced offense. Fiacable threw for 170-some yards last week. Dalton Wheeler ran for almost 150. So they can beat you pass or run. Either way, they have the weapons to do that. But you're right, confidence is a big key in this. When you're playing the Bishop Dwengers, the Bishop Lures, the Snyders, there's something about the psyche of facing those dominant programs that kind of sets the up-and-coming programs like Leo on edge a little bit going into the game. So, you know, they're going to be a little bit nervous to start the game, and you're right, a quick strike, a 14-7 halftime lead, that builds confidence for those Lions kids.
Yeah, and Leo's used to playing in the playoffs with big-time injuries. They did it last year, made it all the way to semi-state, played South Bend St. Joseph. Of course, that was in 3A, but I like Leo by I'm going to say by a field goal.
Wow.
Or not Leo. No, I like Dwenger by a field goal over Leo at Leo, and you like the Saints by a touchdown. I like Saints.
I would say 14.
14, couple of touchdowns. All right, we'll have to see how it plays out.